I'm right back with another video. It's 6:38 a.m. in the morning, heading on to work, and it is a Monday morning, and September 30th, last day of the month. I mean, this month literally just flew right by. I slept really good last night. The weather is really good, and it's kind of chilly this morning. I am wearing a sweater. Which is nice. I tend to sleep really good when the weather's chilly. You're just all covered up in blankets, and it's really nice. It's got a very comforting feeling to it. So I'm looking forward to the cold chill that's going to be coming on even stronger as the days go by. Of course, here in Bakersfield, sometimes it bounces back. Even it can get warm even in October. So I'm not really doing anything as far as moving out my air conditioners until probably the mid part of October. And then I will have to rearrange my bedroom as well as my living room to accommodate, my need for the heater, the wall heater. Right now I have blocking I'm kind of blocking my wall heater because I'm using the extra space because my house is kind of shaped kind of weird. I'm trying to fit all my stuff in there, So anyway, I was thinking last night about, the video that I made earlier yesterday morning regarding my former family and my ex-brother-in-law's involvement into my targeting. I mean, he was like the main perp. I wanted to add some other things to that I was thinking of. I got pretty emotional yesterday while making that video, and I'm not the kind of person that gets emotional. As a matter of fact, I rarely cry. That's very rare. I mean, I can go years without crying. And really, it just something kind of moved me when I was talking about this girl, because I haven't, when she died, it was like right during that time, things started getting really weird for me. So it wasn't like I could really devote a lot of time and attention to the issue of her death or anything like that. It was just like I felt constant pressure at work, what was going on, because of my main perp, now that I understand that, and the bullshit that was going on. So it was like I knew that she was gone, but I really couldn't. I didn't even attend her funeral. It was actually just horrible. So now I think about it, it's like, gosh, these people have sucked up so much of my life. It's just not even funny. So anyway, I was thinking about how all these years that there was so much resentment towards me for not converting to the religion of my ex-brother-in-law. I had no idea those expectations were even being placed on me. Like, my mother never said, we had to be this or we had to be that. My dad never said it. So I think maybe he just assumed that I would. But I can't even wrap my brain around, that sort of, vindictive behavior. And then also, I mentioned that my former husband, who was in a relationship with his mom, which I think is very strange. It's very, very strange, extremely strange to me, but whatever. During this time, he was obviously in a relationship with his mom, and at the same time, manipulating my employment, which is very strange. And I'm not even sure if my former family, who probably, filtered his head in with all this mess, realized the situation I was in. They probably thought that I was in a consenting relationship with him, or maybe that I was his mistress or something. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. But no, I mean, I would never agree to a certain arrangement to something like that, because it's just, it doesn't make sense to me. Everything that when I think about relationships and stuff, I think of it as, very pure and sweet and like the sugar cubs. I just don't think of it that way. So I would never consent to anything like that. So I'm a little shocked that number one, that they would think that I would settle for something like that, and number two, that they would blow up something that to me would be considered a very private issue. Like I said, everything that goes on, or they think that's going on, tends to become out, and it goes out in the public platform. In reality, when looking at the situation, if a man is holding a woman against her will, manipulating her employment, he's got a relationship with somebody else, okay? And this woman's completely unaware of it. This woman needs help. She needs some sort of intervention, like, through some sort of agency, or like, what do you call it? whether that be the police or maybe even like a human trafficking organization, although I really don't put a lot of faith in that organization. But I'm just saying is, it's like this person needs help. They don't need to be, harassed, okay? And I do understand that these situations are far more common than, we'd like to think that they are. But, even aside from that, whether I knew that he was in this weird relationship with his mother or not, the thing is that, when Joel and I were together, me and my ex-husband, he never said anything about anything that I did. Like, he accepted, or at least he pretended to. I mean, he actually encouraged it. Every time that we'd go to the store or whatever, there were times we'd go shopping and he would sit there and patiently wait for me to get my clothes together or whatever. And he knew that I liked clothes and stuff like that. And he always said, you're a girl. That's, he expected that. So then you get, Jim Culligan, my ex-brother-in-law, comes in with his views and ideas of what women should and should not do, and starts setting standards. And then because Joel is a very weak-minded person, obviously, he just kind of goes along with it. So I resent Jim's intruding into my life, on several levels. I do recall, I was thinking, going back also, throughout the years, that, I remember going through school and being happy. Like, I remember my 6th grade year was really, really happy. And then I went into 7th grade and I was really enjoying it. And now I think about it, that things really started to hit the fan when I was in 8th grade. That's right around the same time that I met my friend who introduced me to the Jehovah's Witness faith. Now, mind you, my family had studied with Jehovah's Witnesses when I was really young, like I was 3 years old. So they had leftover books and pamphlets and stuff like that I was really happy to rediscover at that time. So, I mean, I was kind of interested in that study. Okay, obviously I'm not a Jehovah's Witness now, but at that time. But I do recall, like, right around 8th grade is when my life I started feeling like I was constantly being attacked, or not necessarily attacked, but like I was questioned a lot from other people. So, and then when I got into high school, it got, even worse. It was like, people were being kind of rude and monstrous, actually. And I do understand that, he was behind it. When I was in 10th grade, I think it was 10th grade, maybe, I don't know. I had an English teacher. Was it English teacher? I believe he was an English teacher. I don't remember what class it was. But I had a teacher who went to the same church as my ex-brother-in-law. Oh, lucky me, right? And it just got to be a nightmare. It got to be a nightmare. So, he was really on to me about this whole religion thing. And I never realized that he had so much resentment, like downright hatred for me because of this issue. Like, he may have assumed that because, he was my sister's husband, that he was going to be introduced into the family and that he was going to take charge of everything and that everybody was going to fall under his rule. I never even thought about that. When growing up in my family, we studied with Jehovah's Witnesses when I was younger. I know my parents sent us to a Baptist church for a little bit, okay? But we never had, like, a strong religious backing. We never did that. Like, everything all the lessons, all the morals, all the discipline that was handed out through my parents was based on, like, things that were not related to religious discipline. Like, some people don't want, they teach their kids, behave yourself, act this way. And religious people say, because we're Christians and we have to, we're representing God. My family it was all about, don't make us look bad, blah, 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 blah. Or if you do this, you're going to get in trouble, blah, 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 blah. It had nothing to do with religion. So my parents were very open and flexible about the religion thing. Okay, like I said, they even gave me permission to choose my religion when I got to be a certain age. So obviously that was not important to my parents. I think his behavior towards me is inappropriate, you know. And now I'm looking back and I'm thinking, oh my God, look what you've done. Look what you've done. You have destroyed so much of my life, you know, taken so many years out of my life. And life got really hard for me, like when I was in high school. It was becoming a nightmare. And just like, you know, back those days, he's been manipulating things for this long period of time. So I don't, you know, obviously, you know, people like this should not have anything to do with, you know, mingling with other people and convincing them of their power and their, you know, he has no right to do that. Like, you know, men don't have rights over their wives. They don't, okay? They're, you know, they don't have that. But, you know, especially in this situation where he's married to my sister, but thinks that he has some right over my life, that's insane, you know? I don't know if my former sister, Tanya, who's married to my ex-brother-in-law, goes along with it because she's terrified and she doesn't feel like she has any choices or whatever. I don't know. And you know what? It's not my problem. I just know that, you know, if she doesn't have the common sense to wake up and see that she's being abused, that's not my problem, okay? All I know is that these people have doled out all kinds of abuse towards me throughout the years. So it's really stupid for anybody to expect for me to have any sympathy for her, you know. But I will say that if I was in that situation, you know, I would try to find some sort of help. But that's not, you know, whatever. I don't really give a shit what happens to her. I don't, you know, because she, to me, is somebody who comes off, who tries to project herself as this educated woman who's, you know, so, you know, knowledgeable about the world, and she feels as though she's got something to teach me when she, you know, obviously she's studied into sociology. She should understand that social platforms should not exist in the manner that it does. Like, this was going on with her husband, telling me what to do, and then spreading gossip and stuff like this, and how it's going to affect, you know, other people's decisions. She should know better. You know what I mean? I don't want to make excuses for other people. So anyway, you know, those are certain things that were on my mind. You know, and like I said, you know, I don't have a whole lot else to put into my mind because I basically have been removed from any sort of social interaction. And that's not my fault. My isolation is not my fault. They put you in a situation where they feel like you have, you know, like I'm supposed to ask their permission for stuff. I don't have to ask their permission for shit. I don't even know these people. And that goes for my mom as well. It's like, you know, my mom, you know, she played a very small role in my life. Like, she basically just kind of, I would say that she was kind of inactive in a lot of ways. Like, she really didn't have an understanding of the outside world. And I'm not bashing her for that, but she didn't have an understanding of the outside world. The only thing she could do was make sure that I got to school on time, you know, make sure that I was well groomed and fed, and that was it. That's all she could really do. She could never give me any proper guidance. She couldn't do me anything like that because her knowledge of the world was so limited. You know what I mean? Especially for someone who was raised in that day and age. So, you know, I'm a grown woman and I can make decisions on my own, and I would have made a better life for myself had these people not clung on to me, you know. I resent it big time, you know. So now, you know, I'm looking at, you know, and I how these other people who got involved in this could see or think that what these people were doing were right. It's jaw-dropping. It's jaw-dropping. Does it make sense that someone would have authority over another person? And I know they probably use the whole idea or this whole thought that this line about me having a child out of wedlock or whatever. But you know what? I showed responsibility for it. I mean, I went out and looked for work and did what I could do, the best I could do, you know, under the circumstances, trying to work and take care of a kid at the same time. So I'm not saying I was a perfect parent. No, I'm not. You know, I don't think anybody is. But, you know, everything that I tried to do, these people would squash out every single time. And, you know, I never asked for it. You know, that's my biggest issue. I never asked for it. And it's just really sad to me that you think that that these professional people would allow themselves to get involved in this and then turn it around like they have something to teach me. Like I'm supposed to be, you like I'm not good enough to do the kind of work that I really should be doing, when these people have made numerous errors. And I'm not trying to bash these people, I'm just trying to make a point, because this is a very serious issue. You're dealing with a woman who's abused by her husband, and basically being held down, and prevented to move and do whatever she needs to do, because the control has been given to her ex-husband, who is in a relationship with his mom, who's obviously, there's no devotion towards me if he's, that's so weird to me. I can't even, I'm not even going to go there. And people are on the outside looking at this and thinking that I'm supposed to be to blame for that. How could I possibly be blamed for any of that? Do you know how many women end up get married, and sometimes their husbands are married to somebody else, which is even more jaw-dropping in my situation. I would never think that anybody would be married to their mom, but whatever. I still, it's just whatever. So, I've been blamed for things that I had nothing to do with. Nothing. All because of this jealous man who feels this sick need to dominate women. And if you want to dominate your woman, which means Tanya, go right ahead. You go dominate her all you want to. Stomp on her face, whatever you got to do. But I'm not married to you. Okay? I am under no obligation to listen to anything that comes out of your mouth. So that's a control freak. That is a narcissistic control freak, is what it is. And, you got to be leery of those types. So anyway, today I'm just kind of, I've been thinking a lot about my house, how I'm going to rearrange it. I figure I'll rearrange the rooms after I mop the floor, because it's all about moving stuff and everything. And then I will start doing that, take care of that stuff a little bit later, because I really am looking forward to this season. I really like this time of the year. I feel happier. Not that, I'm happy in general, because I'm really not. I'm just kind of dealing with stuff. But, I will say this, though, that this community made a big mistake. They made a huge, huge mistake, as well as other people who got involved with it. I know that I got calls from other people from the United States, and it was wrong. It was completely wrong what happened to me. And I can't believe that it took so long for people to actually wake up and see that, and it's a scandal. This right here is a scandal, but somehow or another, it was made out for me to look like I was a scandalous one, because I didn't want to be a part of a cult. You know what I mean? It's like, well, people need to wake up, and stop hurting other people, which I know in this world it's kind of impossible, because like I said, I know the kind of influence that's actually on this earth, and it's quite disturbing. But sometimes you're born into the wrong family, and sometimes when you're born into the wrong family, that just opens the way for other people to come in and become an addition to that warped, dysfunctional family, and they can cause hell. I'm going to tell you right now. I think the day that this man, Jim Culligan, came into the family, my ex-family, that was a very bad day. That was a day that you basically entered Satan, basically walked into the house and our household and just destroyed everything. I know that my siblings have been jealous of me over the years now. I realize that. I didn't realize it back then, but I see that now. But there's some sort of competition. I don't want to compete with my siblings. I would never dream of such a thing. I respect their lifestyle, even though I don't agree with it. They do what they want to do, and I should do what I want to do, and we'll leave it at that. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and I will be back with another video soon.